I want to break free.
We can start the show like that.
Break
Okay, this is working.
free.
No,
I
I cannot
want to
dance.
break free from your lies. I don't need you. I want to break. Hi.
Hello.
We're back, bitches.
We,
After 2 weeks.
Yes.
oh yeah, long
I
time.
mean, we don't do like very regular schedules. That's just not us, you know? We're
Yeah.
floating
We should
through
start.
life. Yes,
We're
we
We
messy.
should
should.
start doing it. But it's okay. Welcome to episode 2. We made it to episode 2. That's something.
Nobody thought we would make it.
No,
No.
Not
nobody.
even us.
Mm-hmm.
So, I haven't seen you for 2 weeks.
Yes.
What have you been up to? Have you done something with your life? No, I'm sorry. Like,
I don't know what have I been doing. I actually have to think because I don't think I did anything very interesting.
Take
You
your
know,
time.
exams are coming.
Yes.
That's it.
We don't like that.
You.
No, we don't. But you know what? I normally I had 7 exams. I think I already skipped 5 of them. I'm just gonna do 2 of them because sometimes a person needs to choose their mental health and their physical energy above studying. You know.
Preach.
That's nice.
So I guess that's what I have been doing the past 2 weeks and working on Saturdays because we need to earn money. And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's it.
Get that
What
money.
about you, Gra?
Work, and Johanna, my lovely roommate, has left for Italy, so I've been by myself.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
you
she
haven't
has
come
been
around.
in a road trip to Italy with her dad, so that is fucking awesome.
Dang.
She got Juliet, so the statue, not an actual Juliet. She got the statue of Juliet. She's not a pervert, I swear. So, not doing much. I did an impulsive buy. Pau, you don't know about this, but I'm going to London.
What? What? Since when?
That's an impulsive buy.
Since when and why are you going to London? Is it just like a little like vacation trip, or is it I
A
don't
little
know?
vacation trip. No, a
Is it
little
a
getaway.
honeymoon?
No, it's a little vacation with Oscar, and my friends have like this thing with like a travel agency that they got like a very cheap, like very fancy apartment thing, and they were like, "Get it," and I was like, "Thanks."
And for how long?
No, just like 5 days, not that much.
That's
Oh my
nice.
god, it's a pre-honeymoon.
No,
It's a
it's
pre-honeymoon.
not.
And it's not the first time that they travel together, so it's like the
No, that's
second
true.
honeymoon that they have.
Yeah, exactly.
How many honeymoons have I had already? Jesus
Oh,
They
Christ.
are honeymoons, Gracia. Let us
I
live.
haven't had any honeymoons. Jesus fucking Christ.
You know
No.
what? I saw this video lately a few days ago on Instagram Reels because I don't do TikTok, but I do Instagram Reels, you know. And I saw this video and someone was like saying once in your life you should like do fake weddings with all of your friends.
Yes.
It's so cool. He was like pretending like it was something new. I was like, been there, done that, dude. We did it at Snowhoy. We did fake weddings. Pilar had a fake wedding.
I got married
Gracia,
like
did
2
you have a
times
fake
in one
wedding?
night.
I feel like you did.
Yeah, I
She
did,
sang.
but it was like an informal thing. Carson just married me to Holger and to Oscar.
Okay.
Yeah. But she sang in one of them.
Yeah, I sang.
Primero
I was
en
the
la
singer of one of the weddings. Just saying.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I watched a TikTok yesterday because I am an unhealthy person. To be honest, Reels on Instagram, they're more healthy than TikTok. I saw myself spending like 3 hours on TikTok last night. And one of them was a video about a couple breaking up, and they had to divide the friends as if they were children because they were part of the group friend. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, Oscar, Gracia, please don't ever break up because I don't know what the
Yes.
fuck I'm going to do. I'm going to be a child of divorce and my parents are still married. And it was so fucking weird too.
Yes. You know what? Like there was like this Netflix series, Gilmore Girls, you know? I mean, it's not really a
Yes.
Netflix series, but yes, we know it. We know it. Shout out to Gilmore Girls. It's an amazing series, but that aside, in that series, at a certain point, spoiler, Lorelai and Luke are together, like they're a
Yeah.
couple. And then at a certain point they have a big fight. They don't break up, but they have a big fight, but the town thinks they broke up. And then Taylor starts like handing out these little ribbons, like pink if your team Lorelai, blue if your team Luke. That's what we'll have to do
We'll
if
have to
Gracia
do
and
that
Oscar break up one day.
Sweet guys don't never break up.
Pilar, you make the ribbons, yeah, and I will hand them out because I'm here in
Nice.
Europe. Most of our friends are here, you know.
And how the fuck are you going to get the ribbons if you're in Europe?
You just like next summer I'm coming too. No, or whatever. You're just gonna send them with the mail, you know, or
Nice.
I will come get them. Either way, it's
Okay.
a great plan, don't you think, Gracia?
It's wonderful. I love it. Do
I
that.
love that.
Do that.
So
And then
Anyways.
if we don't break up and you end up making the ribbons for the gender reveal, you can pick the team. Is it a boy or a girl?
wait, there's going to be a baby?
No.
Is it an announcement, Gracia? Is
This
this
is an
like an
announcement,
announcement?
No, it's for 10-year ahead.
So
Okay.
there is going to be children around at some point.
You're the only child I need, sweetie.
Okay, nice. Because I will get jealous. No, I'm kidding. Anyway,
He's
I
gonna
had-
murder my children.
these past 2 weeks that I haven't talked to you, well, I mean, we have talked. We are friends. We're still
Yes.
talking, but I haven't seen you like this. They
Oh,
were
if I
kind of
can
like
get
a
it.
roller coaster for me. Because the first week I was sick, like dead sick. I woke up with a fever
Yeah.
and everything. And I was like, I'm dying. And it was really funny because in that same day, I got a fever. And then, like, in the afternoon, I could go to a party if I wanted because I felt so high on drugs. And then we had a holiday last week. So I went home. I went to Santiago to see my family, especially because one of my niece was turning 1 year old. And I felt like that was a really big, important moment. It was so sad because I have 3 nephews. The oldest, she's 4. The other 2 are 1, and they didn't remember me. Like, they will look at me and start crying, and I was like, I'm so...
They start crying.
Yeah, one of them was like, he's like learning how to walk, and he was like running away from me, going to my dad, and being like, who the fuck is this lady? Why is she so clingy to me? But it was okay. I went home for like 2 days, and one of the day I went with my brothers to a football match of Guatemala and Uzbekistan. I don't know. I'm so sorry. Uzbekistan, which is Asian. Uzbekistan.
I think in Dutch we would say Uzbekistan.
In
Something.
Spanish,
Is it
it's
with the K?
Uzbekistan. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's with a K. It was so random. Like my brothers were like, "Hey, there's a football match here of these 2 countries. Would you like to go?" And I never been to a football match, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Long story short, I came home on Saturday. On Sunday, I started to do a project, and there is this thing in Argentina called mate. I'll put a picture of a mate here. And it's basically, if you're a student, that's the only meal that you're going to have for the rest of the day. And I have a project due tomorrow. And I was like, I have to finish this in 1 day. So what I did, I put mate, which is basically like drinking a Red Bull, but in the shape of a tea. And then I added honey, sugar, and coffee. So the whole day, I was like a 5-year-old who has done cocaine, running around my apartment, finishing the project, going to the supermarket, getting stressed at the supermarket because I went like super fast, and I was getting really angry because welcome to Argentina, something that cost 100 pesos now costs 200 pesos in like 2 days difference, and they didn't change the money thing. So I went to the cashier and she like did the beep thing, and everything was expensive that I have seen. I was like, fuck. So I was a 5-year-old high on cocaine, angry. I came home. I had to put some stuff up my wall. So I took a hammer. So you can picture me running around the apartment with a hammer on my
That's
hand.
dangerous, Pilar. That's
Yes.
dangerous.
You're like,
Don't do that. Don't do that.
the funny thing is that I can drink a Red Bull, a Monster, a gin tonic, whatever, and I'm going to be fine. But coffee and mate together, I was like somebody please come and help me, because I was like a sugar high. You know the vine of the kid that is, what do you have there? A knife? No. I was like that for the whole day, but with a hammer. Just like running around with a hammer. So that was my weekend. That was my 2 weeks of everything everywhere all at once.
So you've been high twice. One time because of medicine, and the other time
Yeah.
because you basically like mixed caffeine with a lot of sugar and some weird Argentinian tea. We tried it, by the way, in Denmark. We tried it. I tried it. I've, you know, that's
Yeah.
my reaction.
Meh.
Meh.
Yeah.
So I could understand why you throw sugar and honey in it, because it's like kind of bitter, actually. Without
It is kind of bitter, yeah. But I'm used
Mhm.
to drinking it sweet, but I don't know why I didn't go to the supermarket for like a month. So I was living on things that were left behind. Like, oh my God, a dead potato. I can eat that.
Girl, you're not healthy.
I'm
Stop.
not healthy.
You're
I
not
realized,
supposed. God damn it.
no, I realized by living on my own that I am so cheap. Like, I don't like spending money on important things like water. I don't need it. You know, like I can go on and on.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
The only good knife she has is because I gave her one.
Yes, that's true. Gracia came home and she saw me trying to peel a potato. And she was like, honey, do you have a knife? No. She brought one from Denmark. So yeah,
But
I'm a cheap person.
what were you peeling the potato with if you didn't have a
It was a
knife yet?
shitty knife. It was a really
Oh,
shitty
okay.
knife, like a really
So I
cheap
also
one.
had to force her to get a potato peeler.
Yes. A lot of things I got because Gracia came home and was like, you need this and you need that. And I was like, I
Yeah.
don't really know if I need this.
Sugar money.
But anyway, while I was at home, I realized that a lot of ex-classmates were home too, but I didn't hang out with them because I didn't have the time. But I started to think to myself, high school, that was 4 years ago. How the fuck was that about? So
Wait,
I
what?
wanted to ask you today, how was high school for you?
Is high school 4 years ago?
For me, it was. I am a 2020 senior.
I
Yeah,
am Wait,
You are a 2019 senior.
why did you guys graduate like earlier than me? We are the same age, right?
Yeah, but we had a
start the year differently. We start our year on around February, March, and
Oh,
ended
yes,
in
that's
November.
true. Oh, that's so trippy. That's really trippy.
yeah, that's really tricky.
It's fucking creepy. You Europeans are creepy. Like,
Okay.
what is it, like in the same year? No, you start in one year and finish in the other. What the fuck?
Yeah, actually,
you're
if you
actually
think about it,
right.
it makes more sense.
You're actually right. We're very confusing because we always have to, like, when we're talking about a year, we always have to specify if we're talking about a year as in January to December, like a year, or if we're talking about a school year, like from September until June. And you guys don't have that problem.
No,
No,
it's just a whole year.
because we make it make sense. Make it make sense.
You know what? Nothing in the European Union makes sense, I guess.
No, that's true. No, nothing.
But anyways, high school, yeah, it's a long time ago. I graduated in June 2021.
Okay, now I understand. Okay, yeah. Yeah, mine was December 2020, and it was really funny because we were wearing, it was COVID time still. So my last class was on a Zoom call with shitty internet and my teacher crying. And I was like, I don't understand what she's saying, but she seems so happy.
Why was she crying?
Because it was the last class. It was like,
I didn't even.
we are emotional.
I don't remember my last year of high school like at all. Like I just remember waking up, going to the school like online, and then falling back asleep. I took so many naps. I slept. I've never slept so much like the year 2020, and I am so sad that that will never happen again. Not COVID, my sleep schedule. Yeah, I mean, I stepped foot on my senior year twice at the school. Twice.
You went to
Yeah.
school twice?
Yeah, because the first one was the first day, and we went to school like for 3 days, I think it was. And then we were like quarantine, and then everything was closed down, and everything was very different, like from here in Europe. Like for Argentina, everything closed down for a year.
Yeah, like up to November.
No
Something like
stop,
that.
no stop.
Yeah.
And then I just stepped foot again at my school because we had the ceremony, like the graduation ceremony. So we got our little diplomas, we got our little hats, and then we just dipped and never came back.
Yeah.
My God. I mean, our schools were closed down for a long time too, but it was so they were closed for a few weeks, and then Belgium was like, let's try it again. And then we tried it again. And then there was another like of sick people, and then let's go back home. And then we were back home for a few weeks, and then let's try it again. Like we didn't give up, you know? And the problem with us, I think, is that I mean, no, never mind. But we just
Don't
didn't
say
give
it.
up.
Say it.
I mean,
I like that you didn't give up.
yeah, but that's the problem, you know, girl. That's the problem that like the Belgian government really likes school. They really like us going to school. And you know what? I understand because following classes for a whole day online is fucking exhausting. But like we didn't persist long enough, you know, that we tried for a few weeks staying home, and then they were like, let's just open up everything because we can't hold it any longer. But we should have held it a bit longer so that the sickness so that COVID could pass a bit more, right? Because every time we opened up
Yeah.
again, it just spread again. And we had our exams, we had it at school, like we did our exams at school. So I guess yeah, and being at home for a year fucking sucks, but I guess that was the only way to actually do something, I guess.
I remember that my school tried to make stuff so we didn't feel like, you know, like being at home and all that thing. Like they will make us, I don't know, wake up at the same time that we used to go to school, get our uniform, like we will wear our uniform to be on the Zoom call and have the breaks, like as if we were on breaks, actually, like talk through WhatsApp, like be friends with each other.
Yeah.
And it was so surreal because, and also my school was the first one to close in Santiago, like before the quarantine was obligatory, because there were a couple of kids who had just came back from Italy, one of them my classmate. And I remember my teacher being like, can you leave the school because you just arrived from Italy? And he was like, no, I don't want to. So the school was like, okay, fuck it, we are going to close everything because you don't want to leave. It was so surreal. I don't know.
That's crazy. I
But
think that
No, go
it
ahead.
was a failure, honestly. Like it was hard at the beginning, but I think that mostly because of well, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm sorry, not sorry to my classmates, but they were shit. Like we're talking kind of allegedly assaulting women, kind of shitty.
What?
So
Okay.
no joke. Like quite a few of them were like that. And then I had my friend group, and of course it was tough not seeing my friends and not being allowed to see my friends. But at the same time, I felt like it was like a very nice time to like, yes, it's shitty what's happening out there. It's shitty that we can't go out, but it's very nice also to be able to look into what I really want to do. Like, how am I spending my time? Do I really want to, am I forcing myself to go out, or do I actually want to go out? Like, do I miss going out? Do I want to do this for myself? Like, what am I doing for myself, kind of thing? So it like kind of allowed me to kind of grow in that way. And during that period of time was when I got like 100% sure that I wanted to come to Denmark, for example, because I actually like got the time to look into stuff and research and everything. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I actually do want to go. So like a lot of good things came out of it. And also the school was very hard because we had a different system. Again, it very much depended on the school, the teachers, and everything. But they weren't as kind to us like your school, Pilar. Like, we usually would get into school at 8, and they would make us get into a class at 7:30. And we would have some breaks, and some classes, like we would have some classes at this time, and then we would have like 2 hours free, and then this class, or we would have like some days were packed. So, and we also had homework, and instead of having tests, you would either have to write like an essay, depending on the subject, of course, or you would have to do an oral test. So, for example, if they were testing history, that teacher usually would make you do like an essay situation, like a very hard, very tough like essay with like you had like the questions and you had to like really put into the work, and you really needed to know the information to be able to answer. Like you wouldn't get off by copying and pasting from Wikipedia. Like some of those teachers were very harsh, and some of them were very kind as well. But for example, chemistry, we did it orally. Like our chemistry teacher would give us like a formula that we had to dissect, for example. So she would be like, can you get me the, I don't know, the this of this of this, and then you would have to write the formula down and make it yourself, and then be like, this would be the result, and then you would read it to her, and she would be like, yes, that's correct, no, that's not correct, blah 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 blah, and you get a mark, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was wondering is if you had the same experience when it came to physical education, because I remember that I used to hate. I mean, I love the class because of the teacher, but I hate physical education. And during COVID, it was really funny because I had my room and only my room to do the Zoom calls, and so you have to picture a 5 years ago, Pilar trying to do gymnastics in front of her bed, trying not to punch her head against the wall. And my teacher on the back being like, you can do it, honey, you can do it. It's so close. Oh my God, don't hit yourself. Do you have that? Because obviously they didn't know what to do. They were physical education teachers. They weren't prepared for this kind of situations.
No.
Yeah, they gave us more, like in my case, for example, they gave us more of tips. Like it was more focused on physical education is health.
Okay.
So we're gonna like we had to research a bit on like the benefits from exercise, like what kind of exercise, blah blah blah. And then they would also ask like what was our physical routine if we had one while in quarantine, like what would we do to make ourselves feel better. And then sometimes they would ask for us, for example, to create routine at home. So you would have to send a few videos, send the plan, and then that would be kind of it. But it wasn't like that hard. It was more like getting together and talking. It was more of a debate class, like what do you miss, what is a good exercise for you, like what works for you, what doesn't, what do you like. So that was kind of like a nice thing, honestly, because they didn't like put us in a face-to-face.
It was really funny. And I remember that she said to us, I'm so sorry to make you do this, but it's because the principal is asking me to do this to you, or otherwise she will like make us debate and then send her a video of us playing in our garage some baseball. No, not baseball, like volleyball. Sorry, I'm really bad at sports. And I remember my mom recording me jumping from one place to another in our living room, and my mom being like, is this the education that I wanted for you? But yeah. What about you, Pau?
I'm just listening to this and I'm just thinking, you know what? Just imagine people within like 100 years, they're studying history, they're studying the COVID times. Like how weird they must find us, I guess. I'm listening like I didn't have to do that for physical education. We actually went to school and did the classes, but then with mouth masks. But at the time I was in a professional musical in COVID times, and there were times that we had dance lesson, or like that we were practicing the choreographies online. So we were like in a Zoom meeting with 25 people, and then our dance coach, and then I was like standing in the living room, and I mean, trying to dance, but I'm trying to follow the music, but it doesn't really work because the music is like
No.
hanging. So you're like, so I just think it's so bizarre. It's so
It's
weird.
Yeah.
If I ever have kids and they ask me a few years, many years, many years, they ask me, how did you do that, mom? And I will tell them I have no idea. It was like, because I remember when they told us the first time that the school was going to close for you few weeks, I was very excited. I thought it was very cool. I thought, okay, finally something is happening in this country, something exciting is happening. And then, what Gracia said is actually really interesting, that she got a lot from the COVID times and being at home, because I really didn't. Like, it made school much more stress for me. Like, we couldn't go to our hobbies, and we couldn't see our friends, so like I was alone a lot of the times, like everyone. But you're just alone with your own head, and my head can be very loud sometimes. Let's put it like that. And it's especially being at home and just sitting in my room and trying to study and everything. My head just could go too loud, and it's actually in that time that I didn't feel very great, actually, because there was just no room, no space to escape from your head sometimes, because going to school or going to hobbies or seeing friends is a way to escape from my own head. And in COVID, I didn't really have that. So I just think it's really interesting that some people say that they found their creative side back then, and then other people say it was a nightmare for me.
I mean, it's clearly like very different experiences. I also think like I was lucky enough that I like have, for example, a very good relationship with my parents. At that point, my sister had moved out and she was in Australia. So, like the conflict was very easily avoided because it was just me. So it wasn't like my sister against my parents and my parents against me and my sister. Like it didn't
Yeah.
feel like that or anything. And it was just more of a, we're kind of worried about everything that's going to happen. Let's hope that everything turns out okay. And thankfully, like, I think that it was a very nice time for me and my parents, especially because I got to be with my parents in a way that I never got. And also school was very fucking stressful. Don't get me wrong. It was very fucking stressful, but I felt like I could get it done at my own pace because we had the advantage of like everything is online. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't want to be at a class, so I would basically zone out. Like there was no need to like, they wouldn't be able to control you in a way. So that gave you also a lot of freedom. But also, I think I also was one of the few in my class, at least, that played it smart. And I paid attention. I knew it was my last year, so I knew the teachers. I knew how they taught. I knew how to basically, they all loved me because I was a nerd. Like they knew that I was getting good grades either way, that I was a good student. So I used all of that to my advantage, basically. And I was like, if I said that I was sick, the teacher would believe me. Or if I said that, I don't know, that if I did a good job, then they would reward me. Like it would be like an easier going thing than the guys that always, that were the troublemakers and everything. Because like the troublemakers wouldn't get a break. Like they wouldn't catch a fucking break. Like if their camera was off, it was like what are you doing? Turn on your camera. If my camera was off, some teachers didn't mind. So,
Yeah.
it was kind of like also keeping up with like the homework and with like the classes in general. Like the classes that I knew that I had to pay attention to, I did. And then it just like I got an insane GPA at the end of the year, and I felt like I didn't do much. Just because I had the advantage with that, because I was like, okay, pay attention here, pay attention there, do this, do that, take that note, and boom, done.
Well, for me, like COVID, I guess that I don't like spending too much time with my own thoughts. Also, I was living with only my parents and my brothers when it was allowed. They will come home and they will have to like run, because in Santiago it was really strict, the system. It was like you have 2 hours free to do whatever you want and then go home. It was something like that. And I'm not going to talk about the illegal stuff that I did during COVID, like meeting friends, which is so crazy to say. I have a sleepover with my friends and that's illegal. That was so crazy to say.
Yeah.
So I guess that I didn't spend the time thinking about myself that much, because the times that I did, it was a disaster. So I start paying attention more to like this kind of stuff. Like it is illegal to go out to the supermarket, but you kind of need to because you need to eat. It is illegal for your kids to go to a park, but they are told they need to go out. Like, that I got into more the political side of it because I'm a nerd for politics. And I guess that I spend most of my time with my mom talking about that. Like, hey, what about education? Because I was lucky and I have the privilege of having my own room, having my own computer, internet, Wi-Fi. My parents were, like the people who were needed for COVID, so they were allowed to go out. So I had the house for myself. I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. And so because I have the free time, I started thinking about, hey, but there are kids that they don't have Wi-Fi or even water. What the fuck are we doing with them?
Yeah.
But leaving that aside, on another note, something that Gracia was talking was something that I wanted to ask you about. What kind of student were you? Were you a nerd? From what I hear from Gracia, she was kind of like a nerd, a teacher's pet, maybe a wallflower. What kind of stereotype did you hang out with, or were you before COVID? Like when you actually could go to school?
Middle ground.
What?
Middle ground. Like I would get invited to a lot of things. Like I would get invited to go out, but at the same time, they really liked me because I was like a tutor situation for everyone, and I didn't mind explaining things. So for the teachers, I was a good student, and then for my classmates, it was my group of friends. I guess they weren't like the wallflowers, really. Just a middle ground.
I studied very hard. I was like, I was a nerd, I guess, but not in the way that I don't know. I just studied really hard. I wanted to have good grades, so I got good grades. And then beside that, I was very engaged at school. I was actually very popular at when you get into school, so you have the school building and then you walk through the door and then there's like this little office kind of thing, and there's like a little lady sitting there, and when you're late you have to give your name, like things like that, that office kind of thing. I don't know how you call it in English, but like I think every school has it.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like that little office thing with the secretary,
Yeah.
It's kind of a reception, but then from the school. I was very popular there, not because I was like a bad student or I did bad things, but because I colored my hair red once. They didn't like that because they said I stood out too much.
Oh my god.
Yes, so apparently you couldn't color your hair, and I told them, but you can, because I looked in the rules of the school, and it says nowhere that you can't color your hair. And they said that's true, but it says you can't stand out too much. But that's actually, I think, you know what? I think that's a profile of me. I was a hard student that stood out a bit because of my personality, because I have a kind of a bubbly, loud personality, but also because I was very engaged. Because I was the last 2 years of high school, I was one of the presidents of the student council, and we did a lot of things. We like actually during COVID times, just to say that we kind of saved our school. You know, our school didn't save our school, we saved our school, because we organized like games for the whole school, and we also did like an LGBTQIA plus action, and even before the student council, I organized a climate action, you know, when then we went like picking up garbage. And you know what, just a little flexing time right now. At the end, when I graduated, I received a prize. I received money,
Okay.
because I was such an engaged student, you know, because I was so engaged in a lot of things. And so I received a prize. I don't remember how much money it was. It was a lot of money, people. It had a very fancy name, but the name doesn't mean anything in English. But that's, I guess, how I was. And my friends, concerning my friends.
Shout out to all of our friends at high school that filled our days with joy, friendship, and occasional judgy looks at students and teachers we didn't like. We wouldn't have survived without you. Also, a special thanks to our occasionally annoying and very shitty classmates. We hope you're well.
I feel like if we went to school together, we would have been friends because I was kind of like, I was going more for like a wallflower situation. I was really good at some subjects. I was not. I actually, okay, guys, there's this thing. I was one of the students of honor. I don't know how the fuck I got there because I was fucking bad at maths, physics, chemistry, all of those. But the teachers, they still like me. They were like, okay, she's trying.
Wow.
We're going
That's
to
a
give her that.
flex.
That's a flex.
They gave you the honor of trying.
Yeah, they were like, she is trying. It's fine. We like her. Because I was really quiet. I didn't like my friends' friends, they didn't go to the same class that I used to go. But I made a group of friends, and it was like it was a really weird group of friends because a couple of girls and we were like really quiet. We didn't like to stand out. We were like, okay, that's fine. If you want to fight, whatever. And then there were other three girls who were going to start fighting with another classmates just because it happens to be. They were really loud, but I wasn't. And then, Pau, when you said about the hair thing, I went to a Catholic school, and one of my best friends, she also dyed her hair. And I remember our principal coming to us on a break and being like, God didn't give you that color. So why are you fighting with God? And I remember that the first thing that I do was to go to the secretary, take one of the copies of the, I want to say constitution, but it's not the constitution, like where the laws
the constitution of your school, yeah.
You get the constitution of the school. And like you trying to find one place where they say that you couldn't dye your hair.
Yeah.
Like I will be, if we were going to the same school, Pau, we will be like next to each other. I will be like, she can wear red hair if she wants to because God told her to.
Yeah.
Some crazy stuff like that.
Exactly.
It was, I don't know. I was a teacher's pet just for my history teacher. I guess that, and my English teacher. Just that. To the rest of the teachers, I was a wallflower who was trying to go by and try to make life out of this. So yeah, but then my friends, they were really crazy. I don't know.
You know what? That's also okay to be a wallflower. We
it was
need
really
that
nice.
kind of people. And you know what? I really like wallflowers because my class was kind of loud and annoying. Like, shout out to all my classmates. You guys are probably amazing by now, and you were funny. But there were times that I wanted to choke you. But so it's actually very nice to have like wallflowers in classes like that, because then I can go sit next to the wallflower and being like, are you as annoyed as I am? And then the wallflower says, yes, I am. And then we can be annoyed together,
Yeah, I used to be that kind of kid. Like, I will say shout out to my classmates because also the same, like they were fucking annoying sometimes, but I really liked it. They never treat me bad at the point. Like I had a conflict with a teacher and they were supporting me. I didn't speak that much or I didn't engage that much with them. But if I have a lot of anxiety and things like that. So if I was sad or bad, they will come and help me. They also allowed me to, I will take my post-its like this and start drawing. And they allowed me to put them up the wall on my corner to make it like they were fucking dumbasses. I don't know where the fuck they are right now, but shout out to them because they were actually really nice. Like I used to talk shit about them, but now as an adult, and a lot of quotes next to adult, I remember them and I'm like, they were actually kind kids and they were trying the best even though they were shitty with some other people. So yeah.
That's great.
And going on memory lane, if you could say something to your teenager self, because now we are in our early 20s, what would you say to them? Like really early, Gracia and Pau going to high school for the first time, first day, excited with red hair and shaking, not knowing anything. If you could say something to them, what it will be?
You know what? I remember when I went to high school, like in the first year, on the first day, I was biking to school and I almost got hit by a car. So that first day didn't start great, you know? But when I actually got there, I was like, okay, I was so excited. I was like, now the new life is gonna start, you know. I'm gonna go studying, I'm gonna be smart. And I was also thinking like some boy here in the crowd will be my boyfriend, because what the fuck are you doing in high school if you don't have a boyfriend, you know? And I will have a whole new life. I would tell that girl right now, girl, chill, you know, go with the flow. You won't get a boyfriend in high school, because why would you get a boyfriend in high school? It's boring, it's predictable. But just be yourself. Just be yourself is so cheesy. No, we're not gonna say that, because that's actually a really dumb thing to say, because I wasn't fully myself, I guess, always, all the time. You can't, and I'm not now, so I'm not gonna say that. I don't know. I feel like I did good through high school. Like, think it was okay. You know, I would just say, be as excited as you can be, and don't try to focus too much on what your plan is after high school, because I had all these plans, you know. I had a whole plan mapped out for me, and from the second that the plan doesn't go as I wanted to, I crash a bit, you know. And I would just try to tell her, don't hold on to the plans. If something changes, if the things you're interested in change, that's fine, you know. If changes are okay, you don't have to have like a 10 years plan and stick to it. I think I would say that.
What about you, Gra?
Tough one. I think I would probably tell her to be patient and that things get better. And yeah, also trying to like live with as less regret as possible, kind of thing. I don't think that I would change many things from before. That's the thing. I don't think I would change what has happened. But I think I would tell her like more of a be patient and you have time, instead of like trying to get her to rush a lot. Because like, again, in Argentina, it's very much like you finish high school, you go to university, you get a nice boyfriend or girlfriend, you get married and you have children, and in the meantime you're working and you form a family and blah 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 blah. And that was clearly not what I wanted to do. So I think that also reminding her that also is okay, to not want that kind of plans.
Mm.
and that letting go is okay and healthy. What about you, Billy?
I feel like I will say to her, go through all that shit. Like, I wouldn't tell her anything. I will let her be. But if I have to say something to her, I will be more like, it's okay not to go with the crowd. It's okay if you don't want to follow traditional careers and things like that. That's okay. That's fine. But I would actually like for her to go through all the shitty things, because have the bad friendships, had the shitty relationship, have a crush on a guy for 5 years and realize that he never had a feeling for you. Like, go through all of that, because I actually need it for now. So make sure that you have it. I don't really know. I'm really lost. Wow. It's okay if you don't want to go to that quinceañera party. She doesn't even like you. Like, why are you getting so worried about that?
Don't get stressed about it.
Don't go to the quinceañera. And also, because I didn't go to that quinceañera party, I'm going to tell to Paz Pilar, because I didn't go to that quinceañera party, I got to meet one of my guys. Okay. Also, I was a wallflower, but I was also an anime fan kid. I'm so sorry to say it. I was gonna like obsess with anime and YouTube and all that. And because I didn't go to that quinceañera, I got to know a guy from YouTube who was in my city. So,
Okay.
Pilar,
Yeah.
take it easy. Be
Yeah.
funny. Be happy.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think
know.
you're right. I think it's really, I think actually everything that happened back in
Happy
high
for a
school,
reason.
happened for a reason. So yeah, you're right. We should just tell them, just do what you were planning to do, and you will just
Yeah.
see if it was a good decision or not. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I think I would just try and bring her some peace of mind, and like
Yeah.
any decision that you make is gonna be the right one. So just make it, go for it, kind of thing. But also, again, because even the bad things are what make us who we are today.
Yeah.
Mm.
So like everything bad that happened, everything good that happened is also what makes us who we are, and it has brought us to this point in our lives where, for example, we can say that we're friends even though we're countries apart.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I wouldn't spoil it for her. I would just tell her that it's okay. Like, every decision that you feel is the right one, take it. It's the right one, actually.
Yeah.
Because then you start thinking about, what if, like, I start thinking, what if I had a boyfriend during high school, and knowing me, knowing you, I wouldn't
There's
have gone to
nothing
Denmark.
we can do. No, sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's okay. I wouldn't have
Sometimes you
gone.
have to quote ABBA. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go
you
on.
have to. But I guess that if I had a boyfriend or something like that, I wouldn't have gone to all the trips that I have done in my teenage years. Oh my God, I'm talking like an old lady. But I would be like, no, I will want to stay home because I'm going to miss you. Fuck off. Like, no.
No, but for example, I broke up with my ex-boyfriend because he couldn't handle the distance because I was gonna come to Denmark, and I'm with Oscar, which we all know and
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
The things happen for a reason.
You had
Everything
a
happens for a reason.
toxic, hot Argentinian dude, and you switched him for a Oscar.
And Oscar, I love that.
Yeah.
You had a hot, toxic Argentinian.
I
You have
didn't have
Oscar.
a
We
toxic
love you,
Argentinian.
Oscar.
I just had a toxic Argentinian. Who was not great.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
So to
Okay.
close up, I don't know.
So to close up, people, everybody that's listening, if you're listening and you're still in high school, just suck it up and go through it. And then everyone that's not in high school anymore, lucky you, because high school sucks. But anyways, what can we do about it? Thank you for listening to our amazing podcasts. We
Yeah.
are amazing. Thank you for listening to our talking and talking. And if you think after this episode, I'm tired of it, that's a you problem. If you think after this episode, I want to hear more, then we'll come back and we'll make a regular schedule, because that's what we do.
We might come back in like 2 months, 3
Yeah.
weeks, 5 days. We don't know yet.
But
What?
we will be back.
Yes.
We'll be back soon.
That's
You
for
see.
sure.
Okay, I will stop making.
Okay, people.
Tusen tack
Peace
for the
out.
day.
Tusen tack.
Tusen tack.
This is
Be safe.
Be safe.